to the 5-minute salute. I'm your fill-in host, Cole Faust, as Chris Budahas can't make it to us today. But joining me on this phenomenal segment, I've got Adam Davis calling in from Tampa, Florida with Ford, Lord, and Liberty, and Stan Tilton from Washington Crossing, Pennsylvania with Stan Tilton Consulting. Adam, I'm going to start with you. If you could just introduce yourself and your business.
All right. Thank you again for this opportunity. My name is Adam Davis. I'm the founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief at Ford and Liberty. Prior service, joined the Army in 2002. I was a senior in high school when September 11th happened. So myself and, of course, thousands of good Americans, men and women, heard the call of our country to be able to join the military. So I served from 2002 to 2008. Served in Iraq in 2006 and 2007. So fast forward, ended up going to college for my undergraduate as well as my master's degree. And then fast forward even a little bit further, kind of a new direction kind of took place around 2023 or so, as far as being able to create a company that's focused on getting more of the biblical principles and American ideals back into our country. So currently, right now, we offer apparel, both faith and patriotic apparel, educational content, as well as trying to build a community for Christian entrepreneurs moving forward. So we've been around since December of 2024. We're continuing to build our community moving forward.
Nice, awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Adam. That's really cool. Stan Tilton, can you tell us about Stan Tilton Consulting and a little bit about your background, maybe, and how you got to now, I suppose?
Well, maybe I could start with my background.
Okay.
I'm third generation Army. My father served in the Second World War, 5 years in Italy, and then 37 years after the Army, he worked for the U.S. Army at Philadelphia Frankfurt Arsenal. Developing new munitions for war. I was enlisted, and when you enlisted in the 60s, you got a choice of MOS school or duty station for the first 13 months. My father said, pick truck driving school, you'll love it. I said, no, I want to go to Germany. So I enlisted for truck driving school because my father kind of twisted my arm. And I went to Fort Gordon, Georgia, basic, Fort Jackson, Carolina for truck driving school. I graduated from truck driving school. I went to Germany to drive a truck. Unfortunately, I was 17 years old at the time, and they said, you're too young to drive a truck on the roads of Germany. So let's see what we can do with you. Do you type? But I said, yeah, I took typing in high school. He said, great. You're going to be in training for the next 6 months, training other people. So I spent 6 months in training, not driving a truck. And while I was there, the first sergeant came in and said, we want you to run for Soldier of the Month in the battalion. At the time, the 181st Transportation Battalion was the largest truck battalion in the U.S. Army, anywhere in the world. Because if you know anything about Germany, there was no large bases there. Every base was a concern or a barracks, never had more than a battalion on that post. So there was hundreds of these around Germany. So Mannheim, where I was stationed, became the UPS center of Europe for the U.S. Army. And there was 300,000 soldiers there in the 60s. So anyway, I got stuck in training, and I spent 6 months there, finally got my license, started driving, loved every minute of it. I did it for about 3 weeks, and the first sergeant said, we want you to run for Soldier of the Month. Didn't want to do it, but he forced me into it. So I ran for Soldier of the Month, and I won. They stuck me back in a truck for another 2 months, and then I got a call from the first sergeant, said, come on up here. You've been demanded to go to the colonel's office. I don't know what he wants you for, but you're probably in trouble. So went to the colonel, and I walked in. He said, look, we've been awarded one slot at the 7th Army Non-Commissioned Officers Academy, and the officers of the battalion and all the first sergeants picked you to go. So you've got a month to prepare. Don't mess it up. But he didn't use the word mess when he told me that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I
Understood.
went to the academy, came back. I was told I was fired. I'm no longer at the company I was at. And I said, where am I going? They said, you're going to battalion, become the battalion training sergeant, which is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to drive a truck.
Yeah.
So anyway, I spent the rest of my time in training with the Army. They assigned me a mentor for 6 months, taught me how to train. So it worked out okay because I'm a trainer today.
Nice.
So 40 years later, I'm still training.
Okay, and that's what your consulting's all about, is the training piece?
Ironically, when I got out of the Army, I went to work for a consulting firm. And 5 years after I joined them, the U.S. Army came along and said, look, we're downsizing Europe, and we'd like your company to provide the service to transition these soldiers out of the Army. Okay. So we were awarded the largest government contract for Army outplacement. So we set up 30 centers around the world, 10 in Germany, 18 in the US and 2 in Korea. And we would train soldiers, retiring soldiers, on how to be a trainer to train other soldiers, how to update the resume, how to interview, how to negotiate compensation, whatever it took to get them realigned in their civilian life. Yeah. So it was ironic. I learned to train in the Army, and I got a training contract after the Army.
Fantastic.
So
Awesome.
I did that for 10 years, and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. So I left the company, and I started my own consulting firm, Tilton Consulting. I have 2 businesses. One is coaching senior executives on leadership. And also I do outplacement for soldiers, Marines, Navy, whoever calls me, but mostly high school grads I'll work with on finding their first job. And the last thing I do is a way to give back to the Army and mentors I had in the Army is I work with recent college grads and whether they should go to graduate school or get their first job. And I don't pay for that. It's pro bono. I would never charge them for that advice. And I will work with them until they find the right job or find the right university to go to grad school. So that's what I do. And I love it. I love every minute of it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much, Adam, Stan. Thank you for joining us on this segment. I appreciate all the work you're doing. And if you want to check out this video and more, check us out at dailynewsnetwork.com and live with gratitude.
When they leave us for battle, we await their return. When their embrace is gone, we imagine them with us. Some don't come back. We grieve. Some come back hurting. We help. Heroes survive. We honor them. Heroes fall. We remember them. 150,000 veterans live in Jacksonville. We serve them. We're the Military Affairs and Veterans Department, City of Jacksonville. Because of them, our light never dims.